This is Ranger Kidwell Ross, editor of WorldSweeper and the director of the World Sweeping Association. This World Sweeper spotlight is on a company named Rubicon. The name is a reference to the idiom crossing the Rubicon, which means to pass a point of no return. The well-known phrase refers to Julius Caesar's army crossing the Rubicon River many years ago in 49 BC. Yet today, climate change scientists are nearly unanimous in sounding the alarm about our world being on that course right now. Rubicon's stated mission is to end waste in all of its forms by developing solutions that help its partners find economic value in their waste streams, as well as to develop and attain sustainability goals. Founded with a $10,000 line of credit, Rubicon now operates in 20 countries on 5 continents and has a valuation of over $1 billion. The company helps Fortune 500 organizations, Main Street businesses, and municipalities around the world move towards zero waste. Under Nate Morris's leadership as chairman and CEO, Rubicon has become a catalyst for groundbreaking change across the waste management sector, while being recognized as one of the world's most innovative companies by Fast Company and an industry disruptor by Inc. magazine. Along the way, its founder, Nate Morris, has been named a Fulbright Specialist Scholar. Most recently, Rubicon developed a cutting-edge solution it calls RUBICONSmartCity. It's a comprehensive software solution that helps city governments run more efficient, effective, and sustainable operations. Our conversation today is with Conor Riffle, Vice President of RUBICONSmartCity. Already around 50 US cities use RUBICONSmartCity software, and Conor will explain what SmartCity can do in terms of providing a host of value-added information to its clients in the municipal street sweeping sector. With that, by way of introduction, let me welcome Conor Riffle. You've really made a splash in the last year or so with this. I know the response at APW's PWX was great. Tell our listeners and watchers what kind of things Rubicon provides.
Sure. Well, Rubicon's a technology company. We're now about 11 years old, and our primary area of expertise and operations is in waste and recycling. So we were actually founded in 2008 with a mission to end waste, and our focus is in 2 areas. The first is on the commercial waste and recycling side. We represent large and manage the waste and recycling portfolios for large Fortune 500 companies, and we help them reduce their waste and recycling costs by transitioning as much of their material away from landfill and to recycling as possible. And that business is quite large now, and we represent a lot of brands that you know and you love and that you work with on a daily basis. As part of that, we also have developed technology that actually goes into the garbage truck to help garbage trucks run their operations more efficiently. And we sell this technology specifically to municipalities. And this is a really exciting area of growth for us. We call it RUBICONSmartCity. And it actually encompasses a whole suite of technologies that help city governments that own their own fleets to run those fleets and do those operations more effectively and efficiently. So we have solutions for waste and recycling for municipalities that own their own waste and recycling vehicles and do their own residential waste collection. And we also have solutions for cities that own their own street sweepers and do their own street sweeper cleaning. So it's a whole suite of solutions, and we're now in about 50 plus cities across the US with this technology, really looking to use software to help municipalities run these operations more efficiently.
Mm-hmm. So what are some examples of, I'm a city, I have a street sweeper fleet, I either do or I don't move vehicles prior to sweeping. And, I have the usual issues that surround cities and the street sweeping program. So Convince me. What can you do for me?
Mhm. Well, on the street sweeping side, and this is true as well for the residential waste and recycling side of our business. A big thing that we found cities struggling with is just a simple question of whether or not this particular location was serviced. So, and the waste and recycling side, that means did this can at this address get picked up? On the street sweeper side, it means did this stretch of street get swept today? And it sounds like a simple problem, but it's actually a very, very difficult problem for municipalities to solve. And a lot of them have been struggling with this for a really long time. And so our solution on the street sweeping side helps municipalities to actually confirm that the street sweeper was actually sweeping the curb in a particular section of the city. And that our solution also goes on not just to tell us whether or not the street sweeper was actually servicing that particular location, but also if it wasn't, why. And that's very important because it's one thing to know that a service occurred at a particular location. It's another thing to know that it didn't occur. And it's a third thing entirely to know why that service didn't occur. And that's where we can really, once we know the answers to those questions, we can really dive into things like cost savings, labor efficiency, and trying to figure out how we can do more with less, which in this environment is really the order of the day. On the street sweeper side, just to give you a few examples, so our technology now tells us when the street sweeper is sweeping. It tells us when it's on the curb. And then what it does using some camera technologies, it can actually tell us if it deviated from the curb, it will actually take images to show us why, to basically take pictures of why the truck was not on the curb at that particular moment. And then what we do is we actually apply machine learning and computer vision to those images so that we can actually begin to detect the common reasons why service didn't occur in that location, why the sweeper was not on the curb in that particular location. And a really common use case is, for example, parked cars, right? You mentioned it. A lot of cities struggle with this. The street sweeper can't sweep. And so it can't sweep that particular section of the curb. It has to deviate around the car. Well, as soon as the street sweeper starts to deviate, that's when we take an image. We identify the image in the objects that are in that image. We identify that as a vehicle, and then we can tell the municipality, okay, the street sweeper did not sweep at this location because there was a car parked in the way. And that totality of information is really what we believe is critical to give to the city to arm them to make the right decisions, to help reduce the costs of their operation and to run it more efficiently with the maximum satisfaction from their citizens and residents.
Well, one of the things that is just happens so often is that the sweeper has to go around parked cars. If there's one vehicle, then you lose 3 parking spaces. And they tend to be the same vehicles time after time after time because the same people are the scofflaws that are not moving their cars. How about the other angles of it? Well, so let's actually dive a little deeper into that. Now I know that we're having to go around cars in a particular section. Then what? What could the city do to using that information from Rubicon to mitigate that situation?
Sure. Well, there's a variety of things that a city could do, and that's the beauty of cities is that they'll probably all take slightly different approaches to how they solve it. In some cities, for example, they might increase their enforcement of parking ahead of street sweepers. So, for example, in the city I live in New York City, there's a big focus on enforcement of street sweepers, and that the parking enforcement officers go out ahead of the street sweepers to make sure that there are no parked cars, so the sweeper can sweep the maximum amount of the curb. Now, that can be an expensive solution because it involves putting actual feet on the streets. There are other things that you can do as well. So, for example, some cities may want to take a kind of tech-first approach and look at identifying where are the cars that are causing the sweeper to veer from the curb at a frequent pace. So, for example, are there cars that every week are causing the street sweeper to veer from the curb? And in that case, they might take some action to ticket those cars or to intervene with the homeowner or other folks that have that vehicle there. There's another option too, where cities can even begin to detect and use the images to look at to identify the owner of the vehicle using the license plates, and actually ticket using the videos and the images that come from the technology. Now, that's not something that we've explored and something that we're doing right now, but it is certainly an option for cities that are interested in kind of taking the next leap using technology.
Mhm. Very good. And I know from talking to Steve over at Fort Collins, another aspect of what can be done with Rubicon's software solutions is to identify other problems that might be occurring. Overhanging branches. I don't know if that includes things like potholes or so forth. How does that work? Is that an automatic function, or is there something that the street sweeper operator does to indicate that, this is a branch, that's a sign that's down, this is one of the things Steve said they have a lot of trouble with is portable basketball hoops
Definitely.
in the streets, those kinds of things. So you don't really want your city crew to come and remove the basketball hoop, but if it's a sign that's down or a pothole that's emerging, they're cheaper to deal with now than they are later. Is there anything we can do to address that sort of thing through your system?
Yeah, it's a great question, Ranger. So one of the things I think we need to do is to take a step back and look at how useful these street sweeper fleets and these municipal vehicle fleets can be when we're looking at how the city can collect as much information as possible to inform its decision making. So one of the unique features of both street sweepers and waste and recycling vehicles is that they are the only vehicles that go up and down every single street in the city.
Right.
In the case of waste and recycling vehicles, they do that every single week. Remember, they go around to every single person's house every week. And in the case of street sweepers, that might be weekly, it might be monthly, it might be biweekly, just depends on the city. So that's a fantastic coverage area. They also do this on fixed routes, which means that they're taking more or less the exact same route every single week as they go up and down the streets. So this gives us a great baseline to actually use technology to allow these vehicles to collect other information as well at the same time that they're doing their day jobs. And that information, it could be anything in the city. It could be potholes, like you mentioned. It could be information about down signs or graffiti or overhanging tree limbs. Basically anything that can be kind of reported through a 311 system or that citizens might complain about. Most of that information can actually be detected by these vehicles if we equip them with the right technology. So just to give you a couple of examples, I should say we can do it in two ways to answer your question. We can do it either manually, where we have the actual operators that are touching a button on our device in the vehicle to denote that particular location has an overhanging tree limb or a pothole. Or we're also developing technology that can do this automatically. So cameras that actually scan the streets while the trucks are driving up and down those streets every week, scanning that, taking an image of that street every single week, and then processing those images using computer vision to detect things like potholes, for example, and then provide that the detected pothole information to, for example, another city department to go fill that pothole. So this is an example of really what we can do with these city assets. These are expensive city assets. They're very expensive, right? A typical garbage truck might cost $250,000, street sweeper the same. These are very expensive assets that the city owns, and they have very important jobs. But if we can allow them to passively collect this other information as well, that information can empower the city to do other things and to run the city in a more efficient, proactive way. You can imagine a scenario, for example, where instead of citizens calling in to complain about potholes, your city uses technology to detect these potholes proactively. And then the city fills those potholes proactively, resulting in one less call or many less calls from citizens who are complaining about things. If you're a mayor, that's going to be a formula that makes you really happy.
Absolutely. You never know who's going to get the mayor's cell phone and which social media they'll put it out on these days. That makes a big difference. And the ability to not involve people. I mean, we're seeing that in so many areas. One of the annoying ones, I guess, is still when you make telephone calls and, you have to keep hitting different buttons to get to different places. But that is getting pretty seamless to where they can, I had a credit card that was damaged, and I called in the other day, and they were able to send me a new card. They were able to ascertain that I didn't have it lost or stolen. It was just damaged, and automatically sent me a new card, no people involved. So one of the things that we're going to have to address as a society going forward is really, what are people going to do for jobs? Because there are a lot of jobs that are being taken away from, by AI. But using AI like you're talking about, where you can, use this, crunch this large amount of data to proactively, fix the potholes, we'll just center in on that, then it costs less for that pothole to get fixed. So that reduces the cost of your sweeping program or recycling program or whatever. Now that we have a definitive study showing that sweepers are, in Florida anyway, almost 7 times more cost effective to remove nitrogen and phosphorus, it really highlights the criticality of getting those cars out of there and picking up that material before it can get down into our waterways. So that's a huge thing. Tell me anything else you'd like to know, or you'd like to have our listeners know about, how smart cities works. Of course, the more that you can provide them in terms of rate of return, that minimizes the cost of your software and participation. And you have so many cities involved now that there certainly must be seeing good things from that involvement.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think when you sell to municipal governments, and when you sell to government in general, your key watchword has to be return on investment, right? I mean, this is taxpayer money that we're using to fund these city services, and it's taxpayer money that the city has a responsibility to husband appropriately and efficiently.
Sure.
And our technology, sits at that critical point where, it's a technology that is designed specifically to help cities use that taxpayer money as wisely and as efficiently as possible. And like I mentioned with COVID, now is more important than ever for municipalities to run these services more efficiently. Budgets are being cut. We're seeing this across the whole U.S. No one is immune to the effects of COVID, and it's providing a lot of providing a lot of downward pressure on these departments that are historically seen as cost centers, like waste and recycling and like street sweeping. So that everybody's being asked to do more with less, and in that environment, it's more important than ever for municipalities to look into these types of solutions. I see. If I look at the future, I see the cities that are going to be the best positioned, say 5, 6, 7 years from now, to come out of COVID and really leapfrog their competitors are the cities that are investing now for that efficient future. As hard as it is, the cities that are doubling down on efficient services and efficient technology right now are going to be much better positioned 5 to 7 years when COVID is behind us, when this current recession is behind us, and when we're poised for the next phase of growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense that that's the case. What else would you like us to know about Rubicon, where you see it headed in the future? Or, if you have stories from any of the cities you're partnering with that, are particularly pointed or poignant, feel free to talk about that too. But, what else should we know about this?
Well, I think, we're standing ready to assist municipalities with this transition. We have our mission is to end waste. So Rubicon is a B Corp. We're one of the largest B Corps in the world. And if folks in your audience aren't familiar with B Corps, a B Corp is a company that commits to an environmental and social mission in addition to making money. And our environmental and social mission at Rubicon is to end waste. So it's a big goal. It's a really hairy goal, and it's going to be very difficult to achieve. But we're committed to it, and we're committed to it not just in the sense of ending physical waste, but actually ending all sorts of waste. So physical waste, but also wasted time, wasted energy, wasted taxpayer dollars, like we were just talking about. Where there's waste, there's opportunity. And that's the opportunity that we're really laser focused on as a company at Rubicon. So I like to say right now, our mission is really to digitize the waste and recycling operations of businesses and governments worldwide. That is our focus right now as we go through COVID. And as we come out on the other side, these digital operations are going to be the ones that really survive and thrive in the latter half of the 21st century. So we're very excited, and we're thrilled to be able to work with all these amazing municipalities.
Well, it's nice to have a mission statement that's not going to just go away in the next 20 minutes.
So true. So true. Yeah, we have our work cut out for us, Ranger.
I think so. Well, I'm glad you're on the job with this, Conor, and it seems like you guys are doing a lot of good things, and certainly advancing rapidly into the municipal marketplace. So good on you for that. Unless there's anything else that we should talk about, I can let you get back to the rest of your day and so forth. You make that call.
Well, we appreciate it. We're so grateful for your time and your interest, and grateful to be a partner to so many municipalities around the U.S.
Well, thanks again, and we'll look forward to hearing more as time goes on. And feel free to contact us too if there's anything we should be covering in the Rubicon platform.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Ranger, so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.